Monty Parker.
Good evening, everyone. Is anyone hungry?
Yes.
Well, before we partake of this food, let us first, and before your stomach start growling, let us first, I'm sorry. Okay. Let us first bless and appreciate those who have prepared the food and who will be serving us. And most of all, bless you who will be partaking of this delicious meal. May it nourish your body, strengthen you, and may you be satisfied and fulfilled. And for this I say, amen, ashe, and so it is. Enjoy.
Now for your listening pleasure, we have some of the greatest New York City and worldwide musicians that will perform for you in a moment, and that moment is here. I'm going to introduce them, and then they're going to blast off. Let's say, and this is in no particular order, folks, Monty Croft on keys, harmonica, vocals, and the kitchen sink. He plays everything. G.B.T.V, one of our favorites, Brooklyn saxophonist. Marvin Horn, the fabulous Marvin Horn on guitar. Bernard Davis, who's keeping the time for us, big time. And everybody's favorite musician, Stanley Banks on bass. Let's hear it, guys.
It's not together.
Are you there? Are you home? Okay, I'm going to check the quality,
Proclamation from the Borough President of Brooklyn.
To honor and recognize the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium on the 25th anniversary. Whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I recognize the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium for their noble service to our borough. I thank them for giving back to our communities. I celebrate their work to create a stronger Brooklyn. I witnessed their dedication to recognize and uplift the abundant excellence in Brooklyn. I recognize the legacy that they have built in our borough, and I celebrate the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium for all that they have and will continue to contribute to our borough. On behalf of the Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reyes.
My name is Crystal Hudson. I'm the council member. I represent Crown Heights, Prospect Heights, Fort Greene, and Clinton Hill, District 35 in Brooklyn. I just wanted to come, and I apologize. I'm in and out. I'm between events, but I wanted to make sure that I did come for just a few minutes to say hello, to say good evening, to say congratulations and happy 25th anniversary for all the amazing work that you've been doing. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause for the last 25 years. The work that you do, the music that you bring, the musicians that you uplift, the community that you've built and create is truly foundational to everything that Brooklyn stands for. So happy anniversary and enjoy the evening. And thank you for allowing me to say just a few words.
Your eyes of look, your smile in the sky. Saying so much more than words could ever say. And what my heart has heard takes my breath away. I can hold, feel my arms around you. How long I wait. love, it's on the face of what that time can bring. In my eyes of life, when he speaks, just speaks on us. In nights like this, let's make our love sound. Sitting with our kids like feel my arms around you. Come along now, baby, just a love. Now that I have found you, don't ever looking for words to say, searching but not finding understanding. That's the way. But I'm afraid to say we're just too far away. From here close together, let's start. I don't know but all inside this lonely people place. I believe there's something every time I see your face. No matter how hard I try, understand the reasons that we never more. Yes, we in a place.
Mr. Clarence Mosley, Chairman of the Board of Central Jazz Consortium, Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. Now let me tell you one thing before he takes over, because he's got a lot to say. He's led us for a while, good times and bad times. You know, it's not easy to keep an organization going, right? Hello? It's not easy. This man has kept us together, and we have grown. And he's got a lot to say because we have a lot of substance to this organization and a lot of content to be shared. All right? Let's hear it once again from Clarence Mosley.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I just want to start by saying we've come a long way today. Central Brooklyn Jazz has come a long way. I'm going to read my presentation. CBJC is proud to host our 25th anniversary gala. I'm proud to be the chairman of CBJC and fortunate to stand on the shoulders of those visionaries who had a courageous idea in 1999 to start an organization that uplifts the community and recognizes the artists, venues, and communities that have enriched our culture. The mission statement is the foundation of serving the community. Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium's purpose is to educate, disseminate, and preserve the historical and cultural significance of jazz to all ethnic groups. The consortium creates musical forums to serve its objective and provide direct services to the community. Today, we thank and honor 3 dynamic women. TORRIE McCARTNEY, VIOLA PLUMMER, and ALMA for having a vision to launch Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. that if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. It's even more true when you give the task to a busy black woman. G.B.T.V, who was a lion in the community, was chosen to be the first chairman of the board. G.B.T.V was instrumental in launching the Central Brooklyn Jazz Festival and securing operating funds from politicians and city agencies. We also honor the former Assemblywoman, Annette Robinson, who has been a steadfast supporter of CBJC. Central Brooklyn Jazz has been blessed to have inducted musical giants like Max Roach, Randy Weston, Betty Carter, and many more into the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame. Changes have occurred that have impacted our direction. When we had the pandemic, we had to change what we did. We had to have all virtual presentations. And we also had to make sure that we provided direct services to the community. That's what the funding required. We partnered with Investors Bank to provide the financial literacy workshop for musicians. After the pandemic, we launched the Noontime Jazz Series, partnering with the Fort Greene Citizens Council, the Bridge Street Development Corporation, and the Heart to Heart Adult Club. This spring, we launched the mobile Cultures United Jazz Festival, which launched Sunday with Bob and Chief Neil Clark and friends. And you have the folder, we have Benito Gonzalez, Uyu, and the Caribbean All-Stars that will be for the month of June. These programs are in addition to our current programs, Jazz Woman of Courage and the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame. Also in the fall, we will be launching the G.B.T.V Youth Music Institute to provide musical lessons and theory to youngsters to continue with this goal. Central Brooklyn Jazz CONSORTIUM is a 501c3 non-profit organization which supports artists and venues that comprise a critical part of the economic engine in this community. I am proud to be working with an enthusiastic board of directors and staff who fully embrace CBJC's grand vision. Together, we aim to ensure CBJC's continually growing impact. We deeply appreciate your support and participation. Thank you for your continued support, and thank you for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
I have the pleasure now of introducing a wonderful community activist, realtor, party planner, whatever is needed, she's able to do it. And she's a former executive director also of CBJC. And she's going to introduce yet another wonderful person among us. We've got some great people. We've got some great people, not just in terms of the organization, which is included, but as a people. And we better have some great people stepping up, because we got some dark times coming. You know, I'm not going to go there, but you know, our cultural institutions really have to be supported now. So anyway, let me say, Bessie Edwards, please come up.
Good evening, everyone. This is a momentous occasion. This place is filled with us, and it's owned by us, and it's a good feeling to be among us. So I've been asked to introduce Annette Robinson. Is there anybody here that does not know Sister Annette Robinson, excuse me, Queen Annette Robinson, because if it is, then I'll go ahead and read the rest of the bio. But I think everybody here knows Annette. And a few days ago, I spoke with her, and we were talking about the places that we used to go as we were growing up in Bed-Stuy. And we talked about, anybody remember Town Hill? Okay. Where was that? Anybody know? Eastern Parkway and Bedford Avenue, that's right. Annette used to go there, so did I. Anybody remember Baby Grand? Okay, where was that? On Fulton Street. On Fulton Street. There were a couple of other places, the Blue Coronet, Fulton Street. Annette, you remember that? Okay. So the thing is that we are all connected to the history of Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, and we are real proud of it. And the jazz community is very closely tied to the jazz neighborhood, which was Brooklyn and Bed-Stuy was particularly known for jazz in the, I believe it was in from the 60s all the way at 1960, all the way up till now. So with all of that, I'm going to ask Sister Annette Robinson to please step up. And yes. And I want everybody to, if you're able to stand up and give her the credit that is due her for being such an outstanding and active, proactive person for Brooklyn.
Thank you, Bessie, and good evening, everybody. Good evening. I want to say thank you so very much to the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium for this acknowledgement. When G.B.T.V first told me about it, I was excited. And I want to acknowledge his family that's here, all the families are here, his family that's here, Viola Plummer's family is here as well as the family of McCartney. It's just so happened, was any representative here on behalf of Ms. Alma Carroll? All three of them, okay, hi, how are you over there? All three of those women I've worked with through time, through our community. Every one of those women. And I remember when Alma Carroll came out, she said, Scooby-Doo? Or something like that. Something like that, if that's not the correct one, but she and Joe Carroll. They were out promoting jazz. And McCartney, I remember many, many years ago, and I have to share this story, over in Atlantic Plaza. Is that right? Atlantic Plaza. She had a pool party for me over there when I was running for office. That was so many years ago. That's when Atlantic Towers had a pool. When they had a pool. We had a pool party over there. I was running for office. I never did forget that. And then to see the evolution of what took place in terms of her career and all of that. Phenomenal. And of course, Viola Plummer, my goodness. Viola Plummer and the Sister's Place, where I've had the opportunity to go on many occasions. And she was so welcoming to people that I asked her to present in that space. We're talking about John Carlos, the Olympian. We're also talking about Bobby Seale, thank you, Bobby Seale, from the Black Panthers. So those are persons that I presented to her in the organization, and they opened their arms to be able to receive them. So I was so thankful for that. And so, as I said, I worked with all of these women. Not only did we do that, but we also did some legislative work in Albany to support Sisters Place as well. And so with a beautiful, beautiful proclamation acknowledging Sisters Place as a landmark. So those are the kinds of things that have gone forward. And so I'm very pleased this evening to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you. I mean, you know, we've become such a group of folks that we all go to the same places and we enjoy the same company. You know, when you go to a birthday party of a long-time member of the community, you end up seeing everybody that you know. It's like going to Cheers. Everybody in there knows your name, that kind of thing. And so we celebrate 25 years of the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium tonight, and all the wonderful programs that they produce. I try to go to many of them as I can, whether it's at Fort Greene, or whether it's at in the community. Wherever they have a program, I try to show up, because I enjoy the arts. My family put me into the arts program when I was about 5 or 6. I started dancing. I used to do dancing. Ballet, tap dancing, interpretive dancing. In fact, I went to the school of Catherine Dunham for dance. And so I thought at one time I was going to go tracing off to Europe to dance. My mother says, no, you will not be going. You don't have time. So anyway, I enjoyed dance, ballet, auditioned for Star Time. Do you remember Star Time? Yes. But I was too dark, okay? They already had a little black girl there. It was for Star Time. But I was not it. I feel that way too. My grandmother had outfitted me in my little tutu and my pink toe slippers and everything. There used to be a store down on Utica Avenue called Capizio's. Right down on Utica Avenue where my grandmother got my stuff together so that I could participate. So just want you to know the arts is where we are, and we are the arts because we are the people that have created the arts. So therefore we must make sure that we continue to participate and lift up the arts. And these beautiful entertainers, not only entertainers, but they're the creators of music. Our people have always created music. And so we have to be so grateful every time we have the opportunity to come together to celebrate it. So again, I just want to say thank you to the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium for this acknowledgement this evening. Thank all of those that have come out to celebrate with me. And God bless you all. And to all the honorees, good blessings to each and every one of you and to your families.
G2. Hi, everybody. He was walking down Rockaway Avenue, 1980, about thereabouts. He was going to see TORRIE. We want to ensure that anyone who's going to take on Red Stripe and inform over 700 families where and how what to do with their rent. That took a while. That strike lasted over 13 months. But he made sure that she could carry the weight. He prepared her. G2 was always prepared. But he made sure that she understood that whatever comes her way, especially victory, that so many doors are going to be open to her. Office holding jobs. And she was not inspired by that. She just wanted to correct the violations in the Atlantic Plaza Towers. Wow. It was a lot to go through. But she got help. Help came in the form of Shirley Chisholm. She sent her ace financial consultant, Bill Howard, to take hold of the escrow account and inform most of those tenants that your money will be watched, it will be secured. He had to do a lot of convincing, but he did that. And the strike was won. But look how long it took. I mean, it was only, by the time Bill got there, it was only halfway through in terms of tele-participation. But we won. Oh, yo, there goes the party. Oh. Paul Wooten, the attorney out of Bed-Stuy. Supreme Court decision ruled on the case. And Paul Wooten took it to the Supreme Court and read the complaint before Thurgood Marshall. These things that went along with TORRIE and in her career, she didn't want to engage in the arts. She wanted to organize. It didn't matter what. But she ended up doing musicians. She ended up doing whatever was left to do. She stayed in the Atlantic Towers and she began commercializing with the businesses up and down Rockaway Avenue, Atlantic Avenue, Fulton Street. She carried a lot of weight in the community behind the rent strike. But then there came a time where she wanted to sing. And no one knew that was going to happen. You want to sing. So one night, we went out to Pumpkins. Remember Pumpkins on Nostrand Avenue? Nostrand and Church. Another Bill Rutherford. We went there one night. I said, okay, lucky for us, Boss Townsend was on piano, Tootsie B was on drums, and Bob Cunningham was on bass. Wasn't crowded that night, but I go up to Bob and Boss, and I said, I got a singer in the audience. Would you mind? And Bob was cool with it, Ross wasn't. But Bob said, bring her up. And she introduced herself. You know, I'll never forget the 3 songs she sang. Girl from Ipanema, On a Clear Day, Shadow of Your Smile. From there, the 2 of them, mentor and protege, off they went, making gigs, and Bob could find a gig anywhere, be it any date, and he took TORRIE along. This led to a lot of possibilities. We managed a club all the way downtown there, across the street from LIU, it was called Concord. And there we gathered musicians, stopped by, played, had a nice gathering. It won't take me long. There's someone in this room who helped her big time. Please give a hand to Sheila Miller. She gave her a shot at Sheila's. Remember Sheila's on DeKalb Avenue? Sheila's, 2 steps down, Sam Sellers, I think it was Medina across the street. I think it was there. TORRIE wanted to build a festival on DeKalb Avenue to include those clubs. It was called DeKalb Avenue Bach. We sent a proposal to Borough Hall, but it took so long. By the way, we had a reception in Sheila's, 1988. Ed Stout was on piano. But as we waited for decaf apple bop to materialize into Sam Penn. $19.90 and just $9.66. We started on the third floor. I don't know if anybody ever got to the third floor. You had to take the elevator. When it broke, we ended up on the middle floor. But I remember the third floor had the music going out the window. Third floor had the window out, you know. So I would go downstairs and stay on the street and see if I can get some folks to come up because they heard the music. Where's that coming from? Hey, catch this elevator, $5 to get you in. Kiani Zawadi, Bill Saxon. Oh, the visitors, the company we had in the audience. Sophia Mandelli and Betty Shabazz. That third floor was filled. But because we had to get out of there. And again, we didn't stay long. Sam opted to get rid of me and Tariq. You don't get mad at Sam King. We were gone. But there to pick us up was Megan Evans, Dr. Mary Uber. Mary Uberloo and Dr. Edison O. Jackson, they welcomed us to Megan Evans. And we picked up where Richard Green left off. It was Mary wanted jazz. And we gave it to her. We had everybody from Bill Dockett, Billy Harper, outside on the plaza. And that lasted, gee, you don't know, y'all been there. I can't remember how many years. 16 years, 20 years?
2014, a couple of years after.
Well, that's when me and you took over, but I think we started in 96, 97. And because me and, you know, we passed shortly after that, but not before her and Mary organized trips to Ghana 3 years in a row. We took Hamid Lewis with us, Carlos Garnett, Onaji Allen Gums, 3 years running. But even before that, 1999. I know I'm kind of making this up, but follow me, please. 1999, Tariq's portfolio is built up. She can match anybody in the arts industry locally. So when she sat down with VIOLA Plummer, you don't know where VIOLA Plummer is coming from. Ask somebody. ALMA CARROLL. ALMA CARROLL was married to G.B.T.V. Carroll. She introduced a jazz society called Jazz Pizzazz and had her affairs at Sugar Hill in Phoenix. The three of them hooked up. Tariq, VIOLA, and ALMA. And it was like unity personified. They all got on the same page and understood where to go from here. So what did they do? They selected JITU, WEUSI, to run the organization. Don't get any better than that. four of them said that G2, they beat up on G2, but he can take it. They sold the process, and G2 loved the idea, but he said, I'm gonna just check and see who really likes the idea. And he called a meeting. He called a meeting, and Jackie Woods arranged a room on the campus of Bedside Restoration. And G was about 25 leaders showed up. Larry Ridley, Benny Powell, you know, of course, G.B.T.V, ALMA, and VIOLA was there, but I felt so bad about it. You know, I don't know who was there. Stanley was there, and we can't remember 25 people, no sign-in sheet. Did we have cell phones in '99? I can't prove it. But Stanley was there. And that's when we decided. We provided the not-for-profit and introduced that to the table, and everybody agreed that VIOLA, and ALMA, Tariq, and G2 would start the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. You know, I gotta tell you, a little sidebar. The G2 could call a meeting. And somewhere in the mid-2007, 8, put my finger on it for the moment, there was an opportunity to go to South Africa. And there was a member from, can't get the names, but a fellow named Charles and DeBenny. I wish Bob Mine was here. Charles and DeBenny, the brother from Dinkins City Hall office. You remember? Jazz African Heritage to the South Africans. What's the thing on 51st Street? The South African Council came, and they met at Sheridan Center, downtown Brooklyn. And one of the delegates from South Africa says, can you get, I'm not in now, but can you get 50 people to come to the council in about 10 days' time? They asked us of G2, 50 people. G2 said, yeah, I can get 50 people. G2 had over 250 people come to the assembly, the South African Assembly, to begin and to agree to Jazz African Heritage. And that's where Randy Weston and Bob Myers and a lot of us ended up in Johannesburg. Jeff King. G2 and his family's here. Hey, his office was right around the corner from me, 1958 Fulton Street. I love going there. He turned it into a museum. I'm going to get off it. I got something under the table. I'm going to give, it represents 25 years. And I'm sure G2 and ALMA and VIOLA, we want you to have this class because you just finished off 25 years. And I thank you for that. I'd like to give this to you. I don't know. Mama, you want to read it, man? Would you mind? Yeah.
I have my glasses.
excellence. Clarence Mosley, you got what they got. Chairman, Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium, thanks G.B.T.V, Viola, ALMA, TORRIE, 25 years for whatever. United Music Makers Incorporated.
Thank you. I just want to say one quick thing. I really appreciate this, Mike. I became the chairman. It was kind of like a left-handed situation. I was at an event where G2 was campaign manager for Charles Brown. And I just happened to be at that event. And G2 asked me to consider being the chairman. I don't know if I can do it. I have a pretty high-pressure job. And I don't know if I could really do it. So I really want you to consider being the chairman. A week later, I get a call from Bob Myers. Congratulations. Congratulations. We elected you to the chairman of the board. G2 said he wanted you, and that was it. So I really feel blessed because we have gone through a lot of challenges. And any time you have a not-for-profit, particularly with all of these financial situations, usually when you have somebody that's a visionary that passes away, the organization dies. We didn't die because we had a lot of people that supported this organization. And many of them here today, and I will recognize them later. So I just want to thank you, Mike, for this wonderful tribute. Thank you very much.
Mojo, Angela, would you mind? This is yours. Come on. Well, he said. Angela is the wife, was the wife of G.B.T.V. WEUSI. Yes.
Right, good evening. Hello, everybody. This is an honor to see this on behalf of family, for my father. I got to spend a lot of time, he was very close to his girls, and so I got to spend a lot of time with him, thanks to CBJC and Jazzy Monday. The first Jazzy Monday, me and Quilly was driving around there. So let's go support, Bob and Angela doing the jazz thing. And we went around the corner and saw an ambulance outside. This wasn't a good start to things. And so, while setting up the place very nicely, Angela had gotten hurt. And, I jumped in the ambulance, really stayed behind. And, came and helped out there. And so, we was helping out in the beginning days. Of course, CBJC had the festival. Jazz was happening all over Central Brooklyn. And this was Angela and G2's contribution to that in terms of Monday being a jazz spot there. Kind of took an off day. Who was going to party on a Monday? People figured out a way. And so, what I realized about my father was that, people think he was prepared and orchestrated, and he had a lot of knowledge and logic and sense and planning, but he also had a lot of faith. And he also allowed things to materialize and never wavered. He never worried. His faith was unshakable. And like when you think about jazz music, it ain't always planned and orchestrated. You got an idea and a direction, but things happen, And so he knew how to improv with the best of them in terms of creating and bringing things to life. and that's why we see the organizational products that he had. And I learned that watching him. I would come in trying to help, because the first night, I was playing down to a T. Angela was right there, boom. And after a while, with her sideline, you know, he would be at the door, and I'll come in, and not ready. He'd be like, yeah, it's all right. And sure enough, by the time, you know, people are coming, people start lending a hand, people start coming, taking in roles, and he knew exactly what would happen, that people would step in and fill in and make sure that things were as they ought to be. And so he just knew things came together as they would come together, because he could feel the pulse of the people and know what people needed and when they needed it. And that's how a lot of his organizations came about. I mean, you think about things they started, whether it was jazz and the food co-op or whatever it was things that, you know, the insight of what was needed and the pulse of the people that he felt. And so, I mean, you know, he was jazz. And so I learned a lot, you know, about who he was as a person during those years. So I thank you all. I mean, I know so many people here. Clarence, thank you. And Steve, thank you. And, you know, a lot of time I spent with y'all because y'all work so closely with him.
Thank you, Kojo. Thank you, Kojo. This is, we talked about the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame. And we talked about Randy Weston, Max Roach, Freddie Hubbard, Bob Cunningham, so many people being inducted to the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame. The first non-musician that was inducted into the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame was Sam Penn. Because of their focus and contributions to the culture and the music. So we decided as a board, G2 had such a big presence and contribution that we decided that this is the second non-musician but cultural warrior that we're inducting into the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame. Family, G2K WEUSI, jazz impresario, educator. G2 WEUSI, born and raised in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, champion black culture in Brooklyn through education and music. G2 opened the USASA Shul, the first independent private school for inner city youth in New York City. He was an organizer of the East, a community education and arts and organization that featured legendary musicians such as Max Roach, Sun Ra, Roy Ayers, among other notable artists. G2 WEUSI was elected as the first chairperson of the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium in December of 1999. Congratulations to the WEUSI family.
I have to say that Lori Crumbo was here. She had to leave. She's the Commissioner of Cultural Affairs in New York City. Clarence, you're going to be, there's a birthday girl here that lives in Willoughby Walk. Are you still here? Say hello. Stand up or lift your hand up. Happy birthday, happy birthday. So we try to take care of everybody we can. But you know, I got to say that sometimes the sharing is a little long. However, it's necessary because Ms. McCartney and the founders of this organization, as well as certainly G.B.T.V, they deserve our extra attention. So, Clarence, you might want to come back now. And we have one more notable person that I'm going to introduce after Clarence comes up, and then we're going to go back to the music.
Okay, as I said earlier, I'm fortunate to really work with some wonderful people. And in any organization, you have to have great people working with you. So I'd like to introduce the Board of Directors of Central Brooklyn Jazz. CultureShare, God. Monica Cunningham, who is the chair of the Gala committee and did a great job. Tamara Clement. Ulysses Kilgore. William Duarte. Rick Cole. And unfortunately, Bob Myers couldn't make it from Arizona. And Bob is really an integral part of this organization from a historical perspective, and really the energy that he provides to the organization. This is the board. In addition to the board, we have a staff that helps us run this organization. I would like to bring up Charles Dougherty, who is our executive director. And fine musician. Thomas Fisher, who is the director, who is the board advisor and grant writer. Steve Carmody, who is our community liaison officer. These two young ladies, Christina Pierre, where is she? She is our bookkeeper. And Janaya Good, who is our grant writer. Let's give them a lot. Oh, and William DeWalt, our sound engineer. How can I forget? Where's William? These are the people that make this organization run. And if you notice, we have young people, we have a lot of women, we have musicians, so we have a great board that really adds to the growth of this organization. So we look forward to moving forward. So thank you. I just want to thank each and every one of you for doing a great job. Thank you. Also, to make an organization successful, it's over the years that a lot of people that have contributed to the success of this organization. And I just want to recognize, and I want them to stand, Bessie Edwards, who is the executive director. Brother Ahmed, who is the musical director. Garland Paul, member. Teresa Reddy. Lauren Jackson. These are all the folks that, oh, I can't forget. There are some people that are no longer with us that really helped this organization. So I want to give a shout out to Jeff King. Carroll Valley, the keeper of the Wade Barnes, who was also a musical director. And Joanne Chisholm, who was also Pure Jazz Magazine. They all part of 50 Wicked Jazz and has helped us grow this organization over the years. So this is the whole group that has helped us make it for 25 years. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and Stanley Banks, you was in the background. Oh, and Paulette Penn, I'm sorry. I can't remember everything, but you got to remind me. Paulette was the first secretary, and Stanley was one of our musical directors and one of my nemesis that really kept me on point. Thanks, Stanley.
Well, don't even go. Come back, Mr. Chairman. Now he's going to give out the awards for tonight. And as I said before, we have one more person to introduce you to before we bring you back with the music.
Okay, as we talked about the founders, I'd like to bring up Skip. Skip, are you here? One of the founders is ALMA CARROLL. I'm not going to read the whole thing, it's in German. But the first time I met ALMA, the first time I met ALMA, G.B.T.V invited me to Bed-Stuy Restoration at a meeting. I had given them a significant contribution, and I wasn't even on the board at that time. So I was sitting next to ALMA CARROLL. She looked at me and said, "Who is this guy?" So I said, "Until I was She said, "Okay." She pulled out 5 CDs of Joe Carroll. And she said, "Hey, you gotta buy these CDs." I said, "Right now?" So I still have them. I have all Joe Carroll CDs that ALMA CARROLL made me buy. And I remember going to board members at Alma's Kitchen on Pulaski Street. And that was really the first office of Central Brooklyn Jazz. So, ALMA CARROLL's impact on Central Brooklyn Jazz was profound. A fierce advocate of both seniors and youth, she led countless civic and cultural organizations. She served as the president of the Bedford-Stuyvesant Interagency Council on the Aging, succeeded Haiti Carpenter as president of the Magnolia Tree Earth Center, and followed Elmira Corsi at the helm of the Tompkins Park Recreational and Cultural Association. Home to the historic U.B. Blake Theater in 1967, she founded the Pulaski Street Nostrand Avenue Block Association and served as its longtime president. Her civic leadership extended to roles such as president of the 79th Precinct, Community Council, founder of Friends of the Marcy Library, and member of the Sumner Armory Council Model Cities Planning Committee, which helped bring the Woodhull Hospital to the community, and the Central Brooklyn Coordinating Council. In 1999, ALMA brought her lifelong passion for culture and community full circle by co-founding Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. ALMA CARROLL inspired a movement that celebrates more than music. It uplifts the memory of the legacy and enduring power of the community. So we would like to recognize Ms. CARROLL with a beautiful award. Our beloved founder, ALMA CARROLL, Jazz for Jazz Preservation Society, 2025.
Well, I want to thank the legislature for continuing the love of the work and love so much. I appreciate you for that. G.B.T.V was first moved to Brooklyn in 1954. G.B.T.V and his family were, I said my mother and his mother were running parties. And so we were like family together. I think back to the times. I was a little bit smaller than I am right now. But it's been a pleasure to look back over my life and light about McCartney. And take something that brought two buckets. My sister said to tell you how. My sister said she wanted me to let you know she's living in Texas with her family, and she wanted to thank you all for honoring your mother this way. And for my mother, I have to say that Joe B.B.T. Carroll was the love of her life, right? And she was his, and I know she would want everybody to know that. So I thank you all for this honor. I thank you for carrying forth her great love for this organization. And it's been a pleasure to be her son and be raised by her. If I didn't know her, I would think what a wonderful person she is. Thank you.
The next person we're going to honor is TORRIE McCARTNEY. I'll give it over to Michael Harris. I never had the opportunity to meet TORRIE, but I heard so much about her from Mike and members of Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. So This is, let me see here, I got a body over here. Sorry. Okay. Torrie McCartney, A Voice for Justice, A Heart of Jazz, 1950 to 2002. Born in New York City in 1950, Torrie McCartney was a dynamic force, an activist, vocalist, composer, and cultural architect whose work helped shape the sound and soul of Central Brooklyn. Her activism began with the bold rent strike in her Mitchell-Lama building protesting non-functioning elevators. This grassroots action culminated in the landmark 1982 U.S. Supreme Court decision setting a precedent for tenants' rights. In 1983, Torrie launched her music career, forming her own band and booking her first performance at Sheila's. Her rich blues-infused voice quickly became a staple in Brooklyn jazz's scene. Collaborating with Dr. Sam Penn, she was instrumental in establishing Jazz 966, a venue that brought world-class jazz to Fulton. With her husband, Michael Howard, she established United Music Makers, Inc. and founded the Jazzy Jazz Concert series at Medgar Evers College, creating platforms for emerging established artists alike. Her international vision took her to Ghana, where she performed and collaborated with local musicians and officials to launch the inaugural WEUSI Pan-African Jazz Festival in 1999, bridging continents through music. In April 2002, Torrie released her album, New York City Blues, a testament to her musical prowess and deep connection to the city and rich blues heritage. Tragically, she passed away in May of the same year, leaving behind a legacy of artistic excellence and unwavering community advocacy. Torrie McCartney's life was a harmonious blend of activism and artistry. Contributions continue to resonate, inspiring the future generation to pursue justice and celebrate culture through a universal language of music. Mike, accept the award. Torrie.
Thank you, Clarence. Hey, y'all guys want to say something? Huh? My table there is with my brother and my partner and the girls, the daughters. And one of y'all can take this home. I ain't going with you. Thank you.
Also, now we're going to honor Viola Plummer. Funny story. Viola was a very interesting woman. Very interesting. I had very nice conversations with Viola about various topics. But the one thing that was funny, we were inducting Alex Blake into the Brooklyn Jazz Hall of Fame. I grew up with Alex. And we were at the Brooklyn Jazz Historical Society, and so when Alex came up, Alex said, well, me and Mo grew up, and me and Mo did this. And everybody looked around, and Viola said, who the hell is Mo? And then when she found out it was me, she started calling me Chairman Mo, Chairman Mo, Chairman Mo. Okay, Miss Plummer. Born in 1937, Viola Plummer was a formidable political strategist, educator, businesswoman, and lifelong activist who seamlessly wove culture into her pursuit of Black liberation. Her activism began early, joining the NAACP at 17, and spanned decades of unwavering commitment to justice. In 1986, she co-founded the December 12th Movement, a Black human rights organization advocating for the liberation of local, national, and international fronts. As chairperson, she led initiatives addressing issues from police brutality to international sanctions, participating in global conferences, and representing African American interests in the United Nations. Understanding the power of culture as a tool for resistance, Plummer initiated the Jazz Comes to Fight Back series in Harlem. featuring emerging artists like Whitney Marsalis. Recognizing the need for a dedicated space, she established Sisters Books in Bedford-Stuyvesant in 1995. Under her leadership, it became a cultural hub, showcasing top-tier jazz performances and earning honorary landmark status from the New York State Legislature in 2015. In 1999, Viola co-founded the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium, further cementing her role in preserving and promoting jazz as a vital cultural expression. Viola's activism was not without challenges. In 1984, she was among the New York Eight, a group of activists arrested on federal charges in connection with her political work. Undeterred, she continued her work serving as chief of staff for council members Inez and Charles Barron, and remained a steadfast advocate for reparations, witnessing the signing of the New York State's reparation bill in 2023. Viola passed away in January 15, 2004, leaving behind a legacy of activism, cultural preservation, community empowerment. Her life works continue to inspire those committed to justice and the transformative power of culture. Accepting the award for Viola is going to be her daughter, Carol Plummer, and Colette Bennett.
We want to thank very much the continuing work of all the people in this room in keeping our culture alive and vibrant, as it is our responsibility. We want to thank Assemblywoman, always our Assemblywoman, Annette Robinson, for her dedication to keeping the music alive. And we want to remember former, who was indeed one of the founding members of the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. So thank you very much. And we appreciate it.
No, thank you. Yeah, Viola will be missed. Well, she's not missed. She's always in our presence. She was a wonderful, wonderful activist, a wonderful person, and I'm just grateful that she had the vision with two other beautiful black women to start this organization, and it's still thriving. So thank you.
Visuals is indispensable. We wouldn't be here. And are we one fortunate group to still be here tonight together? We woke up this morning, right? And we're still here 25 years, and we look for overtime. I know I am. I got my 80th birthday this year in October. So. My last introduction is of ours, President Executive Director, young man who is a saxophonist, well-traveled musician that knows the industry and knows how to get things done. And Charles Doherty.
Thank you very much. I'll be very brief. I'd like to thank the establishment.
Excuse me, sir.
There is Kwame Clark, Ray Dejan, Stella Miller, or Sheila Miller, Miss Lauren Jackson for her videotape. And thanks again very much for giving me this very important role to be part of the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. Have a very blessed rest of your night. Musicians should be coming out shortly.
Okay, folks, that's the formal part of the program is over. There's room to dance. You know, and carry on.
When my brother asked me to do it, I was
you all mean, but I knew you got G2.